I know.
But we're a depressing podcast. It's depressing times. We're all depressed right now.
Okay, we'll go live.
Let's do it.
I like how I'm a floating head.
Got it.
Should wear a turtleneck.
Got it. We should have turtleneck Tuesdays.
Do I look like I'm
on Outrage Factory? Yeah, Dale. That's
okay. We're actually live. Hi, internet.
Hey there, internet.
What's up? Are you depressed today since it's the most depressing day of the year?
Because it's Martin Luther King Day?
I think conspiracy alert, those racists made Martin Luther King Day on the most depressing day of the year because they're dicks.
Yeah.
Or wait, was today his birthday or anything? Is there like a logical reason it's today before I go spouting off about stuff?
It is a federal holiday observed on the third Monday of January, marking the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. So also,
I take it back. Oh, maybe they were smart and they made this holiday because it's the most depressing day of the year.
I'm not even going to make the joke. Hey, welcome to episode 190, whatever, of Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that make people mad online and explain why they're dumb for caring. I'm your co-host, Derek Bolin.
I'm your other co-host, Floating Head. No, I'm Dale.
Hey, Dale, you feeling extra depressed today, bud?
I was until I put caffeine in my body. This delicious Perrier.
That shit is the fucking bomb. Dude.
How did we make it to 2021? I guess we're in 2022 now without having caffeinated sparkling water. It's like the greatest thing that's ever happened.
It's like just guilt-free caffeine. And you probably get hydrated at the same time because there's water in there. And
there's not a bunch of other chemicals in it. Okay, there probably is.
Probably, but fewer than say Red Bull.
Oh yeah, like a diet Red Bull? Or calorie or zero sugar Red Bull that's just got a bunch of other shit. This doesn't have the vitamin B6 and 12 in it though.
Which, by the way, I went down a fucking Red Bull rabbit hole because I've been watching the
don't watch healthy documentaries.
No, not that. There's a documentary series on Netflix about Formula One racing. Yeah. And it's the Drive to Survive or whatever. It's so fun. I was not a Formula One guy before this, and now I'm obsessed with it. I'm researching all the drivers and all the different teams. But Red Bull has two teams in Formula One. Two of the 10 teams are sponsored by Red Bull, and each of those teams is it costs hundreds of millions of dollars to sponsor a Formula One racing team. And Red Bull has two. And then all the other, you even remember this shit? It was a blip on the internet's radar, 10 years ago when they had that guy jump from the stratosphere, the skydiver, and all this insane. They have so much money to throw at this shit. And it's all because some guy went to Thailand or something on a business trip and stole the recipe to an energy drink that this Thai guy had come up with. And they are now $1 billion global company. I don't think he actually stole it. They officially founded the company together.
So is it the Nike of energy drinks?
Yeah, essentially. That's exactly what it is. But it's it's fucking bonkers how much money they have to spend on all the shit they spend money.
Yeah. And it's weird. Travis Pastrana, he's a motorbiker and rally racer, and he's team Red Bull. And Nitro Circus is probably all, if that's still a thing, they're probably all sponsored by it. They have those fucking biplane races. They have
bro, remember the crashed ice thing too, where they got people put people on skates and send them down a bobsled track, which is pretty fucking cool.
Remember when they put Schlutz in minis and gave them all the Red Bull to hand out?
Oh yeah.
They did
those were the glory days.
Probably a little cheaper than running a whole two Formula One teams.
Were the glory. But yeah, so I was just how does Red Bull have all this money? And it's just because some Austrian guy took a business trip to Thailand.
Fucking delicious. Was it the first energy drink?
The first mass market one, yeah.
I wonder what was the first one. Remember Jolt Cola? How is that not made a comeback?
Oh yeah.
I
That
wonder if
was
they
the
got
one where they
bought
just
out.
like they were like, hey, we're gonna make cola, but we're gonna put a fucking ton of extra caffeine in it.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna give kids heart attacks because they think this is just Coke.
Jolt Cola, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Jolt launched in 1985 as America's first carbonated energy drink. Jolt Cola dominated the hearts and minds of gamers, hackers, journalists, and other night owls.
There was no gamers and hackers in 85. What are they
Also,
on the Commodore 64
are
hacking
journalists
into the fucking government?
journalists night owls?
Yeah, they write at night because they got to get their shit out by the morning.
The initial slogan of Jolt Cola was all the sugar and twice the caffeine. The slogan survived for 24 years when it was changed to twice the caffeine once the sugar was established to no longer be good for you.
Oh yeah, in 80s, the fucking high point of American civilization when they somehow convinced everybody that sugar wasn't bad for you and it was actually fat that was bad for you and killing everybody.
God damn. And it came in those fucking giant cans with like the twist top.
Oh yeah.
Those are the glory days.
Let's go back to the time where we thought fat was killing us and sugar was just guilt-free energy.
Yeah.
Empty calories.
Yeah.
Why are empty calories the most delicious calories? That's what
I don't know. That's how they trick you, because otherwise, biologically, we would be like, oh, these calories are good for fucking nothing. There's no energy in these. They just make me fat and a larger target for saber-toothed tigers. So they had to be extra delicious. Otherwise, you would spend your calories on things that gave you energy to outrun the saber-toothed tigers.
It's true. It's a very good point. So do you want to talk about what happened today in BC?
Sure. What happened?
This?
I don't know. I haven't been. So I'm back off. Did we talk about this last time? I'm back off Twitter. Fuck Twitter. I hate Twitter.
You've been off Twitter for like 2 weeks now, haven't you?
Yeah. Did we podcast last week?
Yeah, we did.
I think I was like in the midst of my like roller coaster sickness, so I don't really recall.
Yeah, you were. Was
I a little fucked up?
You were a little fucked up. You weren't as peppy as you usually are, but you were also your wife was gone, and you're all bacheloring it up by yourself.
That could be why. I was probably just like,
you are still sick,
drunk.
Aren't you?
Yeah, it like ebbs and flows. Like I get like nighttime coughs, and I've kind of had this like, I've just felt like very low energy. Could really use a Jolt Cola or two right now.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say I had like a while ago where I felt like I had low energy too, but apparently there's this not COVID sickness going around that nobody cares about. That's like making people sick for like 3 weeks.
Dude, it fucking sucks. And it's not COVID. And everyone who gets it is like, well, finally got COVID. And it turns out you haven't finally got.
You get sick as fuck and you don't even get the antibodies. And you can't whine about how you're a hero on Twitter. Well, you couldn't anyway, but you can't whine about how you got COVID. So now you're one of the goods.
Be like, well, you can only do that if you're like vaccinated. I stayed home for 2 years and wore a mask for 2 years and I got COVID. If you like did anything that people don't agree with on Twitter, they'll be like, you deserved it. Hope you die. Hope you die.
The funniest tweet I saw, someone said, I got double vaccinated, wore a mask and stayed away from everybody, but still got COVID is the worst marketing plan.
It's true though. It's like,
yeah. I'm just leaning into it. I haven't gotten COVID yet. It's been 2 years. Obviously, I'm one of God's favorites.
Well, that's what I'm convinced, especially with all the traveling I've done. I'm like, I definitely have some sort of like super immunity, and I'm just gonna test that. I'm gonna go to Florida and lick every doorknob in the state, and
you should definitely do that.
Like, I think it's the only natural solution to like, because I'm like, I should. There are thousands of times I should have had COVID, and I haven't yet, or I did, and I was just asymptomatic. And
but
one
you
of those
were
people.
Of anyone I know, you've been tested the most, because every time you go to America, you get tested twice because you get tested on the way there and on the way back.
Yes.
I've had This whole 2 years, I've had 2 tests and both were negative.
Fuck
And
you.
you've had like what, 160?
I've easily been tested over 100 times. Just
over 100?
Yeah, I think so.
God damn, son.
Because all the travel, and then there's just been like times where I got tested here just because, or I was like, I wonder if I have it. And then there was a my employer did a conference, and so I was able to like go and be there in person, but I had to get COVID tested every day to do that. So that was
last summer when we had
tests.
that 2 glorious weeks of no COVID, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. And then I've been tested a fucking ton. So it never gets fun.
No. Oh yeah, the reason I brought this up because of fucking it's Blue Monday today. I think it was Sky Travel out of Europe in 2005 did some statistical analysis, which I didn't look into it because I probably wouldn't know what it meant. Then they decided that with an algorithm or other computery words, I don't know what they totally mean, decided that the third Monday in January is the most depressing day of the year, aka Blue Monday. And if you're south of the border, it's Martin Luther King Day. And Bonnie Henry, who I hope knows about this, she's like, hey, it's the saddest day of the year. Why don't I come out and announce that gyms are closed for an indefinite period? Because she didn't put a time when they were going to be open.
Well, okay, so
they're just fucking closed indefinitely.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
So they basically, it said the BC government has removed the expiration dates on COVID-19 orders limiting gathering sizes, banning indoor events, and forcing gyms, bars, and nightclubs to close. But basically they removed the expiration date because it was basically set to expire at midnight tonight.
Yeah.
Which means that like gyms would have been, so they like removed the expiry date, but apparently our Lord and Savior Bonnie Henry will be addressing that
she's gonna
tomorrow.
Our gym has already gone broke and started up as a new gym once. Is this going to be the second gym that took over going bankrupt as well?
I just think like they can't reasonably extend.
Oh, they will.
But they can't.
There's no, because even like right wing, that's all they want. They're like, we want everybody to just loser shit.
They fucking like, they have basically like BC itself has stopped reporting on case counts because they were like, well, case counts are no longer a good barometer of COVID because everyone has fucking COVID. So they're like focusing on hospitalizations and deaths, and like those ones they're not bad. Like I saw something that was like 22 people died this weekend of COVID in BC, and like apologies to the 22 people who died and your families. But is that like, is that a lot of people to die of one thing in a weekend?
Not to be that guy, but
you're going to be that guy.
3 years ago, would that many of people have died from the flu? Because I heard somewhere, we shouldn't even talk about this, but I heard somewhere that COVID is killing all the people that the flu isn't killing because it's not around. And I'm not saying that COVID isn't that important or it's just a flu or something.
It sounds like that's what you're saying.
Omicron is milder or whatever. But I feel like people aren't dying from other causes, and COVID's picking up the slack.
Yeah. Well, it's also no one's dying of other causes because no one's fucking. Back in the old days, would we have maybe had 22 people die in a single weekend from gym-related mishaps?
Yeah.
Could have happened.
The barbell on themselves.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I watched this video of it was on some subreddit, and it was like this dude doing like bench press, like incline bench presses by himself.
Yeah.
And like no one around spotting him, and he had like set up his own camera to record himself, and he like went up and he brought it down, and it was like, it was on his neck for like a good, like he couldn't get it off. and some guy had to like run over and lift it off of him, and then he had like the kid had blacked out from like having his oxygen, so he just like rolled off of the bench. And like, fuck, people, use a spotter, or like, you know.
Also, don't put the ends on the weight bar, because it's something like, you know how there's like, you have the weights on your bench press.
Yeah, and
like,
if it tips, the weight will just slide.
Yeah, so do that so that it just fucking flings the bar across the gym instead of killing you. But other note, unless you're a fucking hero, just use a universal. You don't have to impress anybody. You don't have to work on your support muscles and your random little muscles that you want to get super shredded. Just do the fucking universal, because if you drop that, you're not going to hurt yourself. That's my PSA. Also, maybe 22 people would die in the gym.
Well, that's the like, I don't know. Like, I honestly, I'm going to make a bold prediction. I don't think they can extend I don't think they can extend the restrictions for like legally they can. But like, even like you and me, we were pretty sympathetic COVID people at the start of this. Like
I'm done.
We stayed home and we fucking wore a mask and we got vaccinated and we got boosted. I think. Did you get boosted? I got boosted.
No, I did not get boosted.
Dale didn't get boosted. I got boosted.
I'll tell you why I did get boosted.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I want AstraZeneca booster.
Why? It's the bad booster.
Yeah, but it's not based on
dollar
the spike
store
protein
vaccine
from the pre-mutated Omicron spike protein.
But what difference does it make?
Because it'll help against the variants. AstraZeneca will help across the various variants more than RNA vaccines, because those are based on the spike proteins that the COVID uses to go into your body. But we shouldn't talk about this because we're just going to get canceled, because you can't have open conversations. And my point is this: if we're so desperate, in dire need of everybody getting boosters, then give me the AstraZeneca. Why can't I have that? It's my choice.
They should give you the choice.
6 chicks got blood clots at the beginning, so they got rid of it.
You can't call them chicks.
6
women.
People who identify as women,
you don't
were
even
biologically born as women, got blood clots, so they got rid of AstraZeneca. I want AstraZeneca.
I mean, they should. If it comes down to like that or not getting the booster, they should give you the option to do it, especially because they probably have a bunch of fucking vaccines.
Just give me one of those ones that's just fucking in a
kicking around in a cooler
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. They're never going to get used.
They're using AstraZeneca's in the Europes and Australia, aren't they? Like Pfizer's. Well, because like, isn't AstraZeneca peddled by Oxford?
Yes.
So
but I don't actually know if they're using it anymore.
Aren't we part of the Commonwealth?
No, let's not talk. But yeah, we were big rule followers at first, and like this last one, I saw a lot of people being like, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't fucking care anymore. And like with each progressive like closure or extension or like more restrictions, you have like so many people who have like done everything they were supposed to and been vaccinated and wore their mask. I'll fucking wear a mask at the gym. Just let me go to a gym.
Like do what they did previously when they had every other machine locked down and you had to wear your mask when you weren't on a machine. Like, what happened to that whole thing?
Yeah. I went to a fucking movie the other day and everyone's sitting in a fucking movie theater with their masks off, stuffing their faces with popcorn. And I can sit in a room with 40 strangers for 2 hours, sit on my ass and watch a giant screen, but I can't go to a gym. Like, come on.
Do you want to hear the scientific reasoning for it?
You breathe heavier when you exercise?
Yes. You breathe heavier and deeper, so you're more likely to breathe in deep and just just suck up the next person's bad breath right into your lungies. Whereas if you're sitting down in a movie theater, where I went and saw this new Spider-Man and I was touching the guy beside me, because they don't do social distancing in movie theaters anymore.
No.
Like, they close the gyms, they pre-sell all the tickets, but they're like, fuck it. And so like I was sitting right next to a guy. So I put on my mask because I was like the first time I've worn a mask in a theater, because usually you sit down and you're like far enough away from everybody.
For people you don't have to, yeah.
Eat your popcorn. But he was
eat
like
your popcorn.
He was like right like this far away from me. And I was all like, because we're like, it was VIP, so there was at least like this thick of like armrest between us. But I was like, damn,
fucking
this guy's right
guy
beside me.
Fucking guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a threat to Bonnie Henry. Bonnie Henry,
Okay.
if you don't open the gyms tomorrow, I'm going to buy a ticket to a movie every night this week. And I'm going to go into those movies and I'm going to breathe so fucking heavy. I'm going to sit next to a stranger and you're just going to hear me going for 2 hours throughout a movie. I don't care what movie it is. I'll do it.
You know what? I'm going to be doing Kegels the whole time because that's exercise. Yeah. Dudes can do Kegels.
Doing Kegels. I'm going to be squeezing. I'm going to be clenching my dick muscles, breathing heavy in a dark theater. If you don't open the gyms, Bonnie Henry,
yeah,
I hope you're watching this.
Bring a grip strength exerciser.
Yeah. Clenching your dick muscles, working on your forearms, breathing heavy at a movie every night. Bonnie Henry, do you hear us?
So how did your podcast get canceled? Well, we threatened that we'd go to a movie theater and flex our dick muscles and pull our buttholes inside of our bodies by doing Kegels, and the YouTube robots caught it.
Wait, is that you do like the full like butthole flex? Oh,
well,
God.
I don't know. It's like
that's so hard.
You just squeeze inside, and it just kind of like it pulls like your sphincter up and like your balls back. Doesn't it do that for you? Am I doing Kegels wrong?
No, I think you're doing it right. You just like, yeah, I've never really paid attention. Anyway, for the rest of this episode,
pee shiver that time because I did it, and then I was like, yee. Maybe that's why we get pee shivers, because when you're peeing, your Kegel tenses up, and it's like a cramp in your Kegel when you're peeing, so you get a shiver to like knock it loose. I love how much we know about science.
Yeah, so much. This is a science podcast.
Science.
That's why YouTube will never remove us for spreading scientific inaccuracy. Hey, enough about COVID. Fuck COVID. Just like no one's gonna fall. If they extend the restrictions here in BC, like good fucking luck.
Yeah,
I will find one of those weird black market gyms where it's like run by wellness gurus who have been like that. Who's that one fucking idiot who keeps like he tours Canada and he's like, I'm a fucking freedom fighter. It's like you're just
get COVID and die.
I don't. Hopefully, because he's fucking annoying.
The guy who went to like the States somewhere, right?
The guy, he's done a bunch of shit. He's like,
he went to a flat Earth conference.
He's got really big teeth. No, that was a local BC guy. That guy died for sure. But there's who are
you talking about then?
There's this one. He's like
big teeth.
He's got like giant teeth, and he like
nice looking teeth or ugly teeth?
Nah, I don't. I mean, they're not like awful, but they're like disproportionately large. So like even if you have like giant nice teeth, you're still like, whoa, that guy's got some big teeth. But he's like, I can't remember his fucking name, but he's like super obnoxious, and he'll go through airports maskless and be like, under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, you can't do shit. And he's a fucking moron.
That guy sucks.
Yeah,
I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm already annoyed.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna look at our list of shit to talk about and find something that is
not COVID. Nothing COVID related.
Yeah, let's talk about not COVID.
Djokovic. Just kidding.
That's actually COVID related, Derek.
Fully COVID.
But I'm impressed you pronounced that right, because this whole time I was Djokovic.
I mean, yeah, sure, that works
got it
too.
Right.
Djokovic.
Should we talk about it a tiny bit since you brought it up?
Fuck yeah, so fuck. We're in the shit already. Let's fucking talk about it.
Let's glance over it. Let's just say, okay, so Djokovic.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, Djokovic is a Serbian tennis player who, if he
Everyone knows who he is.
coincidentally, if he would have won this Australian Open, he would have been the winningest tennis player in the world. Conspiracy? No, just kidding. But
Is
he,
it?
well, they obviously don't want him to be the.
Well,
But he had said that he was medically exempt from being vaccinated
because he had already had COVID.
he had it twice
Okay.
because he had it as recently as December 16th. He said he was medically exempt from it when he got to Australia, the most locked down country in the world. So it's amazing that they're even having the Australian Open to begin with. They said, you don't have the proper paperwork to be medically exempt, and they sent him to a isolation hotel, and they said they're going to get rid. And the transport minister of Australia was like, we're fucking getting rid of your visa and sending you back. Then he appeals it, and an independent judge was like, you guys treated this guy wrong. He's okay. He gets to play. And then the transport minister again was like, no, we can't let him play because we've been such cockheads to this whole country. If we let him play when he's not vaccinated after we've had the harshest lockdowns in the world, we're going to see riots. So right now it's at the point where it's like he's going to appeal for a second time. And that's what it is.
I thought he was on his way back home already.
He might be.
Because basically, like
he
Australian
won an appeal
Open
once.
Yeah. So from what I understand, they said that the Australian Open, which is a separate entity from the Australian government, it's the Australian Open, gave him a medical exemption for being unvaccinated. So they were like, yo, you can play at our tennis tournament. And the Australian government, when Djokovic tried to enter the country, they were like, no, you do not have the correct paperwork proving that you are medically exempt from us, the country of Australia's requirements to enter the country. And then Djokovic basically said that he had COVID previously. And then this like whole other fucking story came out, and all these people were like, well, if he had COVID, he was like running around all these countries, not obeying rules. And that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But
that is independent from the story at hand, because those other countries are other countries. They're not Australia. Yeah.
But like ultimately it was the whole appeal was like, did the immigration minister have the legal authority to not allow Djokovic to come into the country for the reasons they did? And so he won that appeal because they were like, okay, the like legal procedure in which they had handled this was incorrect. And then Djokovic's his big dick move was his legal team actually campaigned for it's like they could have had the case seen by a single judge or by a tribunal, which is 3 judges. And if you go the tribunal route and 3 judges are there for your case, that is the final decision. There is no appealing that. And Djokovic's team argued they wanted the 3-person tribunal because they thought they were going to rule in their favor, and that was going to be irreversible. And then he'd be allowed to stay in the country and play in the tournament. And they essentially ruled against him. And I don't think he has any appeal options left. And
when did the tribunal ruled against him?
Yeah, it was like that. That was the thing that came down yesterday, wasn't it?
I didn't look into this after yesterday.
So basically, the other thing is that
and they were gonna fucking pull his Australian work visa for 5 years after this.
Yeah, so he could, and that's standard. Hey, people, if you're crossing into another country, and you do so under incorrect pretenses, or you don't make sure all your fucking T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, that country can ban you from re-entering the country for a not insignificant amount of time. So make sure you're doing that.
Not to sound like a dickhead, but if someone told me I couldn't go to Australia for 5 years,
I would rejoice.
I would not
celebrate.
I would not have my heart broken.
Yeah, we've covered our
so far away.
We've covered our dislike for Australia, just because everything there is trying to kill you.
Even though we have an Australia correspondent, I think is Scott Donnelly still down there? Should I have not said his name? Shout out Scott.
He is, yes.
Okay.
We like Scott. We just don't like the country he happens to live in. Anyways, so now Djokovic is basically he's not going to play in the Australian Open. The French Open has already come out and said, if you're not getting vaccinated, don't fucking bother showing up here, buddy. So
I mean, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with like tennis tournaments being like, you have to be vaccinated to play in this sport, because to me, playing tennis professionally is frivolous enough that it's not covered under your basic rights to work or whatever to not be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Although I feel like they should give him an antibodies test since he just had COVID. And if he has like skookum antibodies, then they should just be like, okay, we'll temporarily count this as like being vaccinated.
Yeah, and a lot of countries do that, but Australia, I think, because they understand that everything else in that country is trying to kill you, they don't really have room to add another way to die in Australia to the list. So they need to be a little more heavy-handed about it.
I think it also has to do with all the shit they've done so far, like tackling people and like just fucking them over. If they're also, the lockdown is so fierce in Australia, I bet they have a whole bunch of people who haven't had any COVID. So if they got a bunch of COVID in there, it just fucking rip right through the population, like how Omicron did.
Well, because their vaccination rates are also super fucking low because they had the benefit of being an island nation with closed borders through the first 2 years of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So when it came time to get everyone vaccinated, they were like maybe not as high on the priority list. And
why are they having the Australian Open? It makes no sense to me. Like, I get
tennis is it's an outdoor sport.
It makes sense for like a country that's not locked down to the tits like Australia's been.
Well, true.
Like, because if it makes sense to have like a tennis player who's outside in the burning sun, you're not going to give COVID, but all their support staff is going to be in hotels and be in Australia. So it's like, and it's a huge tournament. So there's got to be like a couple hundred people from all around the world converging on your one beautiful little island. I was going to say something mean, but we'll just say beautiful. Like
we'll say beautiful island. Yep.
Yeah. The corner that they're in, whatever, is probably nice. And then, so they're having all these people from all over the world come in. Why not just cancel it?
Well, because I think like this is one of their like major events. And
what other events does Australia have? Kangaroo tipping?
As a recent Formula One guy, they also have an Australian Grand Prix in Formula One.
They could have so much fucking racing in that country because it's all a desert.
Well, they probably do like what are the extreme where you just like drive? Yeah, you just drive across the desert for like 72 hours straight.
What are those called?
Australian
Le Mans is a street race one.
Desert races. Yeah, that's the
24-hour Le Mans.
24 hours, yeah.
Le Mans. I feel like they have all the dirt, like the fucker. There's a whole type of racing and it has a specific word so that we could just call it that. Enduro racing. Yes, I feel like all the like rally enduros where you race for as long as you can. I feel like those are all in Africa. Maybe they could have.
Oh, what is this? The Fink Desert Race is an
there
off-road.
A more Australian name than Finky?
The Finky Desert Race is an off-road multi-terrain 2-day race for motorbikes, cars, buggies, and quads through desert terrain in Australia. 2-day race. Shit. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty fucking
Cars versus
dope.
motorbikes? I thought they only did that in video games.
Everything versus everything, man. Anything goes in Australia.
God, is there monster trucks?
They're probably not.
Dude, a monster truck would be the worst racing machine ever, but I would love it. I would root for the monster truck, even knowing that it would just like run out of gas in 5 minutes.
I see. What we need to do is just wait like another 5 or 10 years until everyone's just like exhausted by like doing the right thing. Much like we are for COVID right now. If we wait long enough, everyone's going to be like, why the fuck? Why am I doing this for the climate? Why do I care about the climate? And that's when we swoop in and we say, yo, we are launching a monster truck race where they just drive through goddamn forests, like plowing down trees. And it like, you have to go through forests, you got to go through mountains, you got to go through rivers, you got to go through desert. We'll just like make this like, it'll be a week-long monster truck race where they just like plow through everything. And we'll call it the fuck the environment week-long race, and it'll be the most popular thing in the world.
Bro, I got a loophole for us. I got a loophole. So you know how they just recently said that private yachts aren't gonna have to go by all the fucking like carbon rules and stuff that everybody else has because only the mega rich people have them.
Oh, what a surprise that mega rich people wouldn't have to fucking follow.
Yeah, it's rules. Just like private jets, which apparently you don't have to do. Like you could just fly your private jet wherever the fuck you want, and it doesn't have any of the climate accords. Also, some fucking airplane company was running thousands of empty jets just so they wouldn't lose all their fucking scheduling timetables and stuff. So it's like, what the fuck? You guys just ruin the earth for nothing. I feel like us as like the poors, we should have a little more leeway. But my loophole is
I'm reading this this article about these airways that were like, oh, we flew like 18,000 empty flights last year, and I'm reading it as I'm sorting my fucking recycling for the week. You're like, why am I bothering with this shit if fucking these like corporations are just gonna fucking take a dump all over everything?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna hit this that you just said, and then I'm gonna get back to my loophole. But the funny thing was, me and Andrea went to a recycling depot because she got rid of a bunch of craft paint she doesn't want to do because she's like, I don't really feel like sanding and painting furniture. And I was like, I don't know why anybody ever got into that phase, but we go there. And I was like, let's just throw it in the dumpster. And she's like, you can't do that. I'm like, we do it at work and everywhere all the time. She's like, that's against the law. I'm like, no, it isn't. You just pay a couple extra dollars so you could throw whatever the fuck you want in the dumpster.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rules against toxic shit. You just have to pay more so that when they gets to the landfill, they put it in the other part of the landfill.
Yeah.
So
that's the law, is they want to make more money on it.
Yes.
So it's like, if you want to throw depleted uranium in the trash, like I know a guy, you just got to pay. You got to pay a few bucks.
Yeah.
That's it.
And put it in the corner of the dumpster so it doesn't fall through the middle. Okay. My loophole
what's the loophole?
We get vehicles that are like kind of like Transformers, where they have a piece of the yacht attached to the vehicle, so they're considered your yacht, so they don't have to be upheld to the same carbon tax rules that non-yacht vehicles have to be.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
Like if you have like a trophy truck and you just want to fucking board out and scream dirty exhaust into the atmosphere, you just get a plank from like the yacht and make it the roof, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah. Loophole.
Dude, if we were rich, we should go in this Finky thing.
Yeah, we're not gonna be, but
oh wait.
What?
Do you know what? I just Googled the Finky racing thing, and the first thing that comes up is Finky Desert Race racing vehicle crashes, killing spectator near finish line. And I was like, all right, that convinced me not to go watch this.
Oh, look, everything in Australia is trying to kill you, including
Even
the
fucking
races.
desert races.
Did that happen this year?
June 21st or June 13th.
Damn. Yeah.
Well, it didn't happen this year, but this year's only 3 weeks young. So I bet there's going to be a bunch of people murdered there. Well, not
almost
murdered, but
definitely
killed accidentally and tragically.
All right. What else is going on? What else do you want to talk about, Dale?
We could talk about these. Oh, let's talk about these toonies that they found in Ontario. Did you see these?
What's up?
So there's like these, they found these like counterfeit toonies, which if you're going to counterfeit anything, toonies seems like the hardest thing to make. And on one side, instead of the polar bear, it's a walrus. And on the other side, it's like this weird decrepit looking queen. And it says $2 instead of $2. So I feel like maybe these were almost done as like an artistic statement. Because if you look them up, they look rad. Here, I'll find a picture of it. But I want some so bad.
Wait, what? So somebody made these counterfeit coins?
Yeah, counterfeit toonies. And if you look at them, you're like, why would somebody go through all the effort of making these?
Are you posting it somewhere?
Yeah, here, I will copy the image and I'll put it in the Facebook comments. Can you just, no, can't do that. Okay, hold on.
You can't do it.
I'm gonna open in a new tab.
You got to save the fucking image and then you got to post it as a comment. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Right?
Wait,
okay, I just posted a link to it. Actually, you're right. I'll save the image as. But yeah, don't those look rad?
Who the fuck is this? Who is the head on the back? Like it looks like Caesar or something, or just some fucking old dude. Like,
yeah, like they said that it was like the news article said that it was like just some bad rendition of the queen. So I think maybe it was like just making her look older and shittier than she is, because it looks like just some like time ravaged old dude.
Well, also, do they think it's a walrus on Toonies? Like, did they look at a Toonie and say,
yeah,
that's a walrus on there, not a polar bear?
But like the detail on the walrus is so good that it's like, it's got to be some sort of like artistic thing. Also, they put $2 and it says Elizabeth on the other side. It says Elizabeth PG Regina. So either it was like something made in China where they don't like necessarily spell things correctly all the time. But I think it was like I think it's like a thing, like a artistic statement. Like if you figure out who that guy is, maybe they're saying he's a $1.
Like these are just like a fake coin that someone came up with as like for some. This isn't actually meant to be a counterfeit toonie.
Honestly, I think somebody made them and like use them as counterfeit toonies when they just kind of wanted to be like, get this thing out there. But I would buy these before I bought NFTs. Like,
100%.
I feel like these walrus toonies would be worth more than an NFT. Like, could you imagine if they just like, what if this was like some hippies like protest against NFTs? Like he printed out a certain amount, he or she, I don't want to gender exclude women from counterfeiting walrus toonies.
Thank you, Dale. It's very inclusive of you.
What if they put out like 100 and then in a week they put up like a news article, we've only released 100, then they would skyrocket the value. Meanwhile, they kept 20 to themselves and then they go to sell them. Okay, I'm deleting all that and we're going to make fake toonies, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Oh, perfect. I love it. This is one of those like accidental genius ideas.
Yeah. Like, how much would you pay for one of those? Those are fucking dope. Like if someone was like, I'll give you this $2 walrus dollar coin for, I'd be like, I'd give you $20.
Oh, I'm for real thinking like maybe maybe we start an online movement to actually put the walrus, because I like the walrus more than the polar bear. So I think we need to start
crazy.
What?
I say I love
fuck polar bears. Fuck
no.
Yep. Polar bears are fine. They're fucking whatever. But like a walrus,
Arctic animal.
They're what?
Out of all there's only like 3 Arctic animals.
Out of all the Arctic animals, the polar bear?
Yeah, the polar bear, bro. What's your favorite?
What are the other options? Penguin?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I like a penguin better than a polar bear.
Walruses.
Penguins, seals. I fucking like walruses. Will fuck your shit up, and they're like giant. They're basically like water mammoths. They just they have tusks. They're huge. They'll fuck you up. They're really angry. They're also lazy when they want to be. They just kind of fucking lay around and be all fat. Like walruses have everything. Everything.
That's true. Okay, you're selling me on the walrus idea. How about we have both?
Okay, yeah.
We get walrus, and how about we get a polar bear and a walrus, and they're like broing down on the back of a toonie.
Yeah, or we get rid of the fucking queen because fuck the royal family.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, takes fucking 10 years to denounce your fucking pedophile son. Idiot. So instead, he
touched kids? Which time? Oh, the time he got caught? Okay.
Oh, his excuse was he doesn't sweat because he's a moron. Because you raise generations of inbreeding have punched holes in his brain to where he thought that would be a good legal defense.
Do you remember talking about that last week?
I do remember that part.
Okay. It's starting to come back. I was going to say, before we get too into the whole, he's sweaty and
let's discuss it again. Yeah. So we put a polar bear on one side and we put a walrus on the other side.
I am so down.
Let's go.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Screw people's heads. More animals. Why can't we have double animals?
Yeah. Why not? Who made the decision
heads
that we have to have
or tails or tails? I guess it would be
tails, bears. No, just we would change it from heads or tails to bears or walruses.
Yeah,
and let's just do that for all the coins and the dollar bills, and everyone has a different bear in a different pose and a different walrus in a different pose.
And then let's get rid of the queen off the loonies and put an orca or something on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is the orca not on any of our coins?
Yeah, well, that's also a very like
East or West Coast, I guess.
That's a West Coast. Nobody fucking they've proven that the West doesn't matter to the big wigs in fucking Ontario or wherever.
It's probably because because BC is just a financial drain. They're like, you have all the resources, all the fucking hydroelectric power, all the forests, and you're still a drain. How did you do that? And they're like, well, actually, we had a pretty good softwood lumber industry, but we made people buy our lumber, so they stopped buying our lumber, and we collapsed it. Yeah. Do you want to talk about this Kodak Black thing that
sure, I got time for a couple more here. Let's go.
Yeah. Speaking of,
I was disappointed by this.
Not sweating during sex.
Yeah, okay.
How about we go to not having sex but still sweating, like Kodak Black did in the luxury suites of the Florida Panthers versus the Canucks game. The funniest thing about this, Derek, was your child. He like asked me how to stream hockey online, totally legally, because it was blacked out here, the game. So I told him how to like get on or whatever and watch this game. And then I find out later that this happened in the game. And I was like, oh no.
This was the game fault? That Jesus.
So Kodak Black, if you're like me and you're a boomer and you don't know any musician right now, he is a rapper. I'm not sure if he's a SoundCloud rapper, a mumble rapper, or just straight up rapper.
He's a real rapper.
I don't know what style he does.
Okay.
And he was in the luxury booth. Well, and then some girl was twerking on him, on his crotchal areas, and he was bent over weird. That's why it was like she was twerking and he was like bent over her and like standing weird and stuff. So when they panned over it with the camera from the other side of the ring, it looked like he was full on doggy style having sex with this woman. And Twitter was aflame.
It was
Kodak Black had sex with this woman.
It was a big opportunity for, I think, the NHL and hockey to get some street cred and enjoy the spotlight for a little bit, specifically because this rapper was having sex with a woman in the booth, and then that was quickly dashed when I think it was her. She posted a video saying like, "Don't believe everything you see," and it was just her twerking on him. There was no sex being had.
Yeah, and then there was actually somebody in the booth or the luxury suite with them who had a like close up video of it and be like, they're just dancing.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's still salacious dancing. You can't dance like that without your like little member feeling everything through the dress.
Sure, but is it that's all dancing?
Yeah, grinding. That's what we used to call it when I was a kid.
That's all dancing. Like you wouldn't do a slow dance at the old sock hop and rub your member.
That reminds me of grade 9. Old innocent Dale, who didn't know anything about sex because the girls hated me my whole life. And back in like a small town, you had to go to school with the same people from kindergarten all the way through grade 12. In grade 9, we had a Danish exchange student. And let's just say she was a little more sexually open than anybody else.
The Europeans always are.
And I slow danced with her. And she ground upon me like my little country boy had never witnessed. And I got the hugest grade 9 erection. And I was so embarrassed because I didn't know what to do. I was like, because I didn't know what dry humping or anything was back then. I didn't know you were supposed to like I thought it was an accident that she gave it to me. And I was just like, oh my God, I got a boner. And I like ran away. And in hindsight, I think she did it on purpose.
It was a feature, not a bug. Yeah.
And I could have had all my grade 9 dreams come true if I had just been a little smarter at that time.
I mean, that wasn't already your grade 9 dreams coming like that. That was your grade 9 dreams coming true. They could have just come more true.
Yeah. Basically, all my grade 9 dreams was pre-sexual because I didn't know what sex or anything was then. It was just women being like, Dale, we like you. And me being like, oh, okay. And I didn't think past that point.
Yeah. That's all
So,
that.
yeah.
You just wanted the sweet validation.
Yeah. I just wanted to feel like I was worth something.
Yeah.
Not a piece of grind meat.
Yeah. Although you'll take that in the absence of nothing else.
In retrospect, it was definitely the better thing of the two. But I didn't appreciate it at the time. There's gratitude for you.
Yeah.
Be grateful when Danish girls in grade 9 grind you into a tumescent state.
Well, yeah, you just think of all the like shit that teenage boys don't appreciate because they always want more. And like, if I could go back and talk to young Derek, I'd be like, dude, this is as good as it's going to get. This is as much as you will ever enjoy anything because you just hit a point where there's no mystery anymore. Like, yeah, sex is still fine, but it'll never be like it was back then when it was like any sexual contact was like this mythical gift from God. And you'll never appreciate that.
Like if I could go back in time, I would be like, no, she likes you, Dale. That's why this happened. It wasn't like an accident and then this happened to your body. She did this to you on purpose. It would be like that.
This was an accident.
And any time in like there's this time in like grade 12 when this girl just started giving me a back rub and I was like, oh, I like back rubs. And then I was like, oh, it'd be nice if that girl who gave me back rubs liked me. not knowing at the time that the reason she was giving me back rubs
That's the only,
was because she liked me. This was also an exchange student who was probably too advanced for me. And then she was like, hey, Dale, do you want to go into the closet and paper mache my legs for me for my art project? And I was like, okay. And I go in the closet and she's like in her underwear. She's like, I'm like, what do you want me to do? She's like, oh, my legs. So I'm like, do her whole legs all the way up, thighs and everything. And I'm like, okay, bye. I'm going to go draw my art. And then like 2 years later, I was just like, oh my God, Dale. Oh my God. You're such an idiot.
I mean, good for you, because this could be like, you can just like spin it as this noble thing and be like, I didn't want to assume that just because this girl had me paper macheing her legs in her underwear in a dark closet, that I should make sexual advances on her. I didn't want to objectify her like that. So I just like, I assumed that it was just a friendly gesture because you're a good non-toxic male.
I am a good non-toxic male.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Oh, dude, I'm totally going to do this. I'm just going to look back and be like, it was because I was too pure and obviously one of God's favorites because I still haven't gotten COVID. So since I was one of God's favorites, he didn't want the sexuality of Satan inside me. So he didn't allow it to go in my body. So I didn't take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
Good for you. And now it paid off.
Yeah. Good job, young Dale, for not hitting on that German exchange student.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been no fun anyway.
That would have been awful.
That wouldn't have changed your life forever.
No.
She wouldn't have shown you things you could only dream about at that point in your life.
No.
It's totally better that you did it this way.
Yeah. Who likes sexually degenerate exchange students anyways? Yeah. Nobody.
Sexually advanced women from Europe.
Yeah.
Nobody that definitely wasn't that.
That wasn't a major plot line in American Pie. That would that wouldn't have been good at all.
I'm starting to realize why this is called Blue Monday.
Dale's reliving his most depressive moments throughout his life.
Most people relive their glory days of high school. I'm just like going back and hitting the greatest hits of missed opportunities.
That's fine. Those are, in a way, glory. Just because they were opportunities, to the part where I was
pure. Good and pure.
Let's
just focus on that.
Just a decent, upstanding young man. What else? What were we even fucking talking about before we got on this? Oh, our fake coin. Wait, was that the fake coins talk?
What was this? Kodak Black.
Oh, Kodak Black. Yeah.
Did we pass? Anyway. Oh, yeah, because we're talking about the grinding and the dancing.
Yeah.
And then,
the NHL blew it. Honestly, if I'm the NHL, because like, here's the thing about the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
It's not popular.
No.
And like.
Is it even still considered one of the big four?
Yeah, it's considered one because like what's gonna fucking overtake like lacrosse, soccer? Neither of those things is gonna be more popular. But like it is not super popular in the United States. And if I'm the NHL, I am like planting a celebrity with someone to have sex with them in a luxury box at every hockey game for the rest of the season. And then just be like, why do all these people hockey trademark? It makes you horny. And then just be like, we have no idea why people keep fucking at our hockey games. Like, why, how is that happening?
Yeah. And as the team owner, the best thing that could ever happen to you is some horny rapper renting an entire luxury suite just to grind on some schloot.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Like they should be like, oh, we totally didn't know they were fucking at our hockey game in this totally private luxury booth that you can rent for this much money.
Yeah. They should be like, we thought she just wanted him to paper mache her legs in that closet. We didn't know this was going to happen. I don't understand. We thought it was innocent. And meanwhile, yeah, the NHL can be like Teenage Dale and the rapper and his consort can be like the German exchange student.
Be like, on one hand, we have this farm boy from a town of 8,000 people, and on the other hand, we have a European exchange student from Germany. Okay, quick poll.
Yeah.
You get a luxury box and you get to make Whoopi. We'll just say your wife in case she's watching this.
Okay. Yeah. With my wife.
Any game in any stadium of the NHL. Who do you want to watch while you're making Whoopi and which stadium?
Oh, I mean,
I didn't think it would take this long for you to.
Well, I was gonna be like
with an answer.
The Canucks, but then I'm like, it's probably tough. I mean, like,
talk about a boner killer.
Well, that's the thing. I was gonna be like, it would be like fucking difficult to maintain an erection, but then I'm like, the Canucks haven't been that bad lately. But
but the thing is with the Canucks, you're like, well, they might be good. You got to go with someone like Tampa Bay or even Florida, where I would go good.
I would go Tampa Bay Tampa Bay or Colorado, also pretty good. You know what? I'm gonna say Colorado Avalanche at whatever the fuck the stadium in Denver is called. Also because Denver has special significance to my wife and I. So,
did you guys meet at the Cult Airport?
That was where we met for the first. Oh, did I tell you they're gonna be featuring us in like Valentine's Day fucking thing? They want like pictures of Kate and I like meeting in their airport, and they're gonna do a post about us. Yeah.
How did they find that out?
Oh, because what was it? Oh, when I was there in my I had a 9-hour layover there on my way back from Key West, and I just fucking tweeted about how I had a 9-hour layover, so I visited the gate where my wife and I met for the first time. Aww. And then they messaged me and they were like, we want to do a Valentine's Day post about finding love in our airport. Can you please send us pictures? And we'll post about you. Yeah.
And then were you like, if you show me the conspiracy basement where all the Illuminati tech is held?
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I said. And they were like, sure, come on by. And I was like, also get a private box for me and my wife to fuck at a Colorado Avalanche game. And they were like, absolutely. So.
Okay, since everybody's dying to know where I would want to do it, I would say I want to do it in Toronto.
Nice.
Edmonton versus Toronto, but I'm adding the stipend that Edmonton beats Toronto. So I could. What?
You can't determine the outcome of the game.
Well, it's not going to be that horny if Edmonton just goes and gets their dick punched in by Toronto.
Well, Edmonton that kind of
okay. I take it back, like because that would be unfair because you were going to say Canucks and then you didn't. So I'm still going to go with Toronto, but I am also going to go with Tampa Bay because they would shit kick Toronto, and that would help me perform watching Toronto lose badly because they have a toxic fan base. And
that's a good call on, actually. Maybe I would now I'm like, who would it make me most erect to watch just get destroyed and then pit them against a much better team?
Oh, can I guess for you?
Yeah.
Getting destroyed, Boston.
Oh, fucking 100%. Okay. Colorado Avalanche against the Boston Bruins, just kicking the fuck out of them.
And as you're about to finish, you get to see Marchand cry.
Yeah. Right. No, right. As I finish, I just blast a giant load, and it's an open box, and it goes all the way down to where Marchand is getting cross-checked in the corner. And as he gets cross-checked, he takes load on his little shitty rat face. You know what was the most upsetting thing for me lately is that Marchand is the more I read about it, the more I'm he's kind of a decent person, outside of the rink, especially with what's his name? Fucking Jimmy Hayes, the guy that from the Bruins that passed away. And like Marchand's been doing all this shit for like his family and stuff. And I'm like, fuck, it's makes it a little bit harder to hate that guy, but
it
not
almost
much.
makes it worse because he's such a degenerate piece of garbage on the ice. And it makes it so much worse because he's so nice outside of the game
Yeah.
that it's almost less excusable how big of a dickhead he is on the ice, because it's like, I know you're a really good guy, so you must know how bad and annoying it is that you're such a garbage person. But if you have someone like D'Angelo, who's just a hot-headed asshole all around throughout his entire life against his own teammates and everything, when he's a dick on the ice, you're like, wow, that's just D'Angelo.
I expect
But when Marchand's a huge dick, you're like, but he's a nice guy. He knows this is wrong, but he's still doing it.
Which D'Angelo's managed to just like keep his head down and his mouth shut this season, hasn't he? Because
where's he playing? He's in Columbus, isn't he?
Carolina? I thought Carolina signed him. And
I feel like when you go to the southern states, all the stuff he was getting in trouble for in like New York is kind of
you're welcome here.
Yeah.
Oh, but he also like
Trump. So do we.
He hasn't made the news for any like non-hockey related reasons, I think.
Yeah.
He's just
he probably got like his wake-up call when he got fucking fired from the Rangers, when they're like, yeah, we're not having you part of this team anymore. We're just letting you go. And it was like, oh shit, my career's over.
Oh and shit. Then, I was going to get paid millions of dollars to fucking play a game.
And then when Carolina was like, we'll give you a second chance, he's like, oh, okay. But then he kind of like argued with a ref and got a 10-minute major. So that was shades of old D'Angelo.
I'm just I wanted to see how many points he has this
it's probably a lot
this season.
It's probably going to make me sad that I didn't grab him in fantasy hockey.
Yeah, I had him on my 25 points in 28 games. Not bad, buddy.
What? He's only played 28 games?
Yeah, is that just due to like postponements and shit? Yeah, probably.
Wait, how many games? Yeah, because they're like at over 40, some teams, aren't they?
He's not vaccinated. He's not vaccinated.
Supposedly, the only unvaccinated player in the NHL is Bertuzzi.
What?
He's on a fucking tear. That's what they said. Because there was at one point there was 4 guys who weren't vaccinated. It was Bertuzzi, Hamonic from the Canucks, and then I don't know who the other 2 were. But then Hamonic.
Oh, Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo is vaccinated.
Yeah.
Surprising. Did not seem to align with his politics.
I mean, it could have been part of his like coming around for his second chance, being like, yes, I will absolutely do whatever.
Yes, I will not fight anyone on anything.
Yeah.
I like getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport.
Honestly, I'd rather be in North Carolina than New York anyway.
Would you?
Yeah.
Having been in both of those places. And I like North Carolina.
If I was him.
Oh, yeah. With his political views, yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I've been in neither, and I feel like if you're a right-wing guy, North Carolina's is it North Carolina or South Carolina?
He's rallies in North Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
Which is the more liberal of the Carolinas, but also less liberal than
like, I mean, if you're a right-wing guy, most of these hockey teams are in big cities, which usually swing liberal. I'd say that's one of the better places to go if you're right-wing. Like, where would be better? Arizona or Dallas? Tampa Bay?
What, for right-wingers?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about most major cities, which is most major sports markets in the United States, are more liberal.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, if we're talking probably Arizona for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The Florida Panthers, Dallas, probably Dallas Stars.
All teams I just said. Were you
probably
texting instead of listening to me, Derek?
No, I was seeing how my I did a DraftKings lineup for the the football game that was happening tonight, but just the second quarter, and I wanted to see how I did. I did.
How'd
If
you
it
do?
makes you feel any better, I won $0.
Oh, guess what I just got from my fantasy football? Because I won the entire season. I won $300.
Makes me so mad that I like fucking congrats to you, by the way. I obsessively like I am obsessed with fantasy football for like 20 weeks a year. I do fucking prep, I build spreadsheets, I fucking listen to like every podcast, I pay extra money to like these places to like get their like insider guides. I do fucking like hours and hours and hours and hours of research. And I was in 4 fantasy football leagues. I didn't make the playoffs in a single fucking one. Like I lost money in every single fantasy league I was in. And Dale just like strolls on in and fucking like just drafts according to like ADP and
Projections, baby.
Bam, finishes in the money. Wins the whole fucking thing, which goes to show like maybe we shouldn't overthink it.
I got to be honest with you, Derek. The $300 is secondary, but just knowing how much it bugs you that I won is the real prize here.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. That's fair.
I feel
That's
like
fair.
With hockey, I always do bad because I always make like nostalgic picks, or I'd be like, oh, I know who that is. I'll pick that guy because I like that player. Whereas football, I know maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks and nobody else. And I just pick completely off of projected points and stuff. So it was like all objective by like just what are they doing for me? So I had no emotional attachment to any player. So if like a guy was like supposed to be good, I wouldn't have known that. And he was just like bad 4 weeks in a row. I'd be like, oh, who's this scrub? I'm going to dump him.
Yeah, he's fucking out.
Whereas in hockey, I'm like, this guy's supposed to be good. Maybe he'll turn it around. And it just ends up fucking me all the time.
Goes to show, just like only pay attention to the numbers. Don't let emotions influence your fantasy picks.
Yeah, and picking Oilers because they're my favorite team was definitely not a good strategy this year because they are not doing good.
Yeah, but Draisaitl's still like the second leading scorer in the league.
Yeah, he's still really good.
Yeah, I think you're
most
okay.
goals, second most points.
Yeah, you're doing fine. You're doing fine, Dale.
But
you're doing fucking...
Jarvy's not doing good.
No, but come on. Who was the guy in preseason you had the biggest boner for? And I'm like, that guy's not even going to be on the team like halfway through. You drafted him, I think.
Tyson Barrie?
No, what the fuck was his name? He was like a guy who like got a ton of points in preseason.
Oh, and you were like, was that this year or last year? Was that Ennis?
That was it. No.
Or that was last year because they traded that guy.
Did they?
Benson? Was it Benson?
I think it was something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You were right. I got fucking owned on that because that guy he's barely on the 4th line or whatever. I don't know why he was so good in preseason.
Yeah.
I should have listened to you.
Yeah, you should have.
Unlike football.
Just kidding. Don't listen to me because I'm also in last place in our fantasy hockey league. So don't listen to me about anything. No, I won 4 games in a row. So I'm doing marginally better now.
Nice.
I'm up against Tim this week, and honestly, beating Tim is my Stanley Cup because that guy is like just the mouthiest shithead in the league, and like everything about him rubs me the wrong way. So if I can beat Tim, that is my championship trophy. That's all I want is to win this week.
He's all right. Definitely gonna watch this too. So
yeah, 100%.
We should just start a fantasy podcast.
We for real. I would be down with that
because I've been trying to maybe might make it through a whole podcast without talking about COVID.
We would, but we'd still talk about COVID, and we'd still talk about that time you paper mache a girl's legs. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of Outrage Factory. I've been your co-host Derek Bolin. You can not follow me anywhere on the internet because the internet is full of toxic shitheads who make me feel bad about myself.
It's like the Toronto Maple Leafs fan base. I'm your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at SuperDaleBot. You can follow the podcast Twitter at OutrageFactPod.
Do you tweet from that?
Yeah.
Nice.
I tweeted before this. I don't tweet that often, but I'll like tweet out links for the podcast when it comes out and stuff. So it's probably actually better that way because my personal account, I tweet too much and people will probably be like, spam. But the podcast one, I'll tweet like only when stuff's good enough to tweet because it's not my personal account. Oh, funny story.
That's the brand account.
Yeah, funny story. Andrea, she was like, we don't follow each other on Twitter and we never like look at each other's Twitter. She was like, oh, I went and found your Twitter today. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because I let it fly on Twitter. And she's like, yeah, I went through your Twitter. I was going through your timeline to read all your old tweets. I was like, oh shit, what did I say that was bad? And then she's like, I only made it through 4 days and I gave up.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about tweeting so much is like, there's no way she's putting the work in to go like all the way back.
Yeah. She was like, you tweet so much. And I was like, do I? And then I think about it and I'm like, yeah, I do tweet a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell her to do some search like at SuperDaleBot space bitch space girlfriend, and that can pull up.
I'm not telling her to do shit on there because
at SuperDaleBot space cheated space banging bod space grinded on me in a private booth at the Maple Leafs game space.
Yeah,
I'll give her some hot search tips.
Search SuperDaleBot boy titties and find out all the times I was all horny for dudes with their shirts off in movies.
Boy titties.
Speaking of boy titties, go watch the show Peacemaker because John Cena is so good in it.
So fucking good.
Did you watch it?
Filmed in Vancouver. I watched the first 2 episodes last night. I'm going to watch the third tonight, but it's crazy fucking good. Oh my God.
What was the line he said that was so fucking funny? I died. I can't remember what it was, but it's so funny.
And I haven't seen the James Gunn Suicide Squad yet. So I'm just like watching this, not knowing.
Did you feel lost at all with what was going on?
Not really. They talked about like they alluded to it a little bit at the beginning with like him getting out of prison, like the last mission he was on, and then like who the fuck the people are, because some of those people are from Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah. So because they basically all you need to know is he has like a bomb in his head that they can blow up if he goes off mission or whatever. But they explain that, I think. The funniest thing was in Suicide Squad, he comes out and he's wearing just like tidy whities, and this other guy's like, what are you doing in your tidy whities? He's like, that's racist. Just out of nowhere. It was so funny. And his pet fucking eagle named Eagly.
The Eagly is amazing.
Best sidekick ever. I don't want to talk about it too much and spoil it for any of you guys, but you should definitely watch Peacemaker.
We should do a pop culture podcast after our fantasy podcast, after this podcast, and we just talk about, hey, we should do another special. We'll talk about it afterwards. Hey, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Wherever you get your podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends about us. What else? Anything else, Dale? Buy some merch.
Follow us on Spotify.
Like,
don't even because that way, I don't know, you'll find out when we get new pods. Go to Facebook, like us. That's about it.
Yeah. Until next week.
Stay angry.
Paper mache, my lady.